Hello! Hello everybody, hope you're well. We've got a load of jobs to be cracking on with this week. Now they're the kind of jobs that you need to get done but they're never ever going to be seen. We're at that stage. It's a good thing really because it means that we're progressing, but it's that kind of lull in the middle of a job where you've got to do all these jobs, and experience tells me that we've got a long hard week ahead of us, and then when we're actually looking back at it, it's going to look a little bit like we haven't been there, but they need doing. Let's crack on with it. Right then, have you ever heard the phrase, polishing a turd? Well, that's what a couple of us are doing today. I've got to make this raggedy-sided hole fit for a pair of French doors. I'm just going to do it and then I'll explain it later. I'll get the music on, get the time lapse on, and I'll explain it later. Also, doing a fair bit of poo buffing is Matt over here. Remember there used to be a chimney there? Right, no more. We didn't film it because it's a carbon copy of last week's episode. That's just bolted in exactly the same way as it was as we did then. If you fancy watching that, you can all, by all means, go back and watch that one. But now we've got to sort of try and flatten it out because it's all over the place, as you can imagine. And that is the main wall of the kitchen. So, and it's all going to be brought in line with the, obviously that's the old wall, with the new wall. We've got 150mm cavity. So it's all going to be packed out, flush with that. So they're cracking on with that. Rich is doing, he's suffering a bit. He's been to the dentist today, haven't you, Richard? Yes, and
Rich, is your face hurting you?
It's killing me. Killing me.
Oh God.
Okay? Unbelievable. Great. Brilliant, isn't it? It's brilliant. Speaking of pulling teeth, I'm going to try and get work out of these fellas. I'm going to get some work done out there. Sorting that hole out. Rich is putting a full ceiling in here to bring it in level with the new ceiling and to hide the steels, so the ceilings go throughout all the way one level, which Matt is really happy with because that means it's all got to be plastered in one go, the entire room. Yeah, he's all right, isn't he? He's all right. And out here is Richard's stunt double that's turned up. We'll go into that a little bit later. Right, let's crack on.
So we're straight back at it this morning and we've started to look at removing these floorboards so we can get this floor up, and then potentially releases more work then to get the saw piping ready from the downstairs toilet, which will be featured in another episode. So just to explain what we've done in the roof here without falling through the floor. As I did on the Wumban job, exactly the same scenario here in terms of I used 4x2 to span across. Of course 4x2 won't span that far, so I've then just bolted some timbers, drops there, nailed and bolted. Can't see the bolts on this side. The bolts are on that side there, all the way through there, just to carry the span. 2 rows of noggins, so that's all nice and sturdy. Bolted to the wall. and then bolted, yeah, and then bolted into the timbers in the web of the steel. Now bear in mind these are only carrying plasterboard. It's not a floor. Floor's up there. This is just plasterboard. That's it. So you can, if you want to demonstrate, Matthew, you can. If you want to see, I think Matthew wants to show you. Now he's 25 stone, so that's there's no deflection at all. And then just to explain what we've done here, this, as I think I did mention yesterday about building it out to suit this new 150mm cavity block work and brickwork there. We've put these timbers in because we've got a kitchen going in. So that timber there is set at 2140, which is top of a larder cupboard or top of wall cupboards. That one there is bottom of a wall cupboard, so 720mm down, which is bottom. That one there is set at 900 to the top, which means I've got all my fixing points in, ready for my cupboards. No, it's not pretty, it's only as a function. There's plenty of concrete fixings in it all the way across. What we'll do then is, the royal way, this will be plasterboarded, with lit bits of plasterboard. We'll then use excess plasterboard then to dab in here to carry any bigger voids if Matt's not happy carrying that, which we're not, are we? We're going to put dabs in there, aren't we?
Stop the flex.
Just to stop the flex in the boards. I mean, bear in mind it's going to be covered in kitchen anyway. And then once this is all plasterboard, all the timber's covered in plasterboard, and we're talking about strips, we can then use that then to dab onto to make the wall nice and flat. We'll have a full dab all the way across, and then when we screw through it with our brackets it won't pull in, and then we'll have a proper structure to fix to with our timber. So that's the idea of that. It's not pretty, but it's not meant to be. It's got a function, and that's it. So what we'll do now is, I think, is we'll stick a bit of music on. We'll do a bit of a time lapse. We'll get this up and we'll see what wonders we find down there.
Well, I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it is a horrible day out. And yesterday I went round with the trowel, knocked a lot of jobs off the list. I was going to show them you first thing, but I won't now because it's raining, so I'll do that tomorrow. So it's forced us indoors, and as you've seen on the time lapse, this floor's been taken out to uncover a bit of a void. So all them bricks that we've took out, they've got to come back in. They've got to come back in. Anyway, right, so what this is allowing us to do now is box off a task that has been long in the mind. There's a downstairs toilet behind that wall. I'll show you that in a second, and it's a macerating toilet, and it's already been replaced once by the customer, and I've had no end of trouble with the old one and the new one, and I want it into a proper normal toilet. So we're going to see if we can do it. Now I'll show you what we found underneath, or just behind that wall in the void there, and then we'll go through a bit of a plan that we've got. Right, first off, we've left this bit of timber in because look at them for clips, for pipe clips, they're ace, aren't they? There you have it. I don't know why everyone went to plastic. It's much more environmentally friendly. Right, so if I crawl under it. Excuse the shaky camera work. Oh my word. He's down, he's down. Right. Under here, if I turn this light on, I have a face ain't gonna just appear out of nowhere. Boom. There we go. Oh. There we have it. Right. We have a hole. Now then, we can do something with that. We can get in there, we get the saw pipe in, because we believe that those pipes sit at the back, I think, looking at it from this far away, is possibly the waste from the macerator. So we've got the space to get the fall. However, our problem is getting through this thing. And the good news is, a couple of weeks ago, we were sponsored by AG1, and I've been on it since, and I've lost a bit of weight. The bad news is, we've also been sponsored by HelloFresh, so I'll put a bit on. So we'll know, eh? We'll find out who's the winner. HelloFresh or AG1. Am I going to get through that hole? Right, I'll show you the toilet, and I'll show you how we're going to do it. And this is it. Not only is it a understairs toilet, it's also an underground one. Down 4 steps. And here we go, the offending article. And as I say, it's got a macerator onto it because it's so low, it's never been able to get to a soil pipe before. So it's all been done through that. The customer has had no end of issues with it. And as you can imagine, if you haven't been through it, you have a problem with a macerating toilet. It's a bit of a horrible problem. So he wants it, if possible, gone and replaced with just a proper normal, you know, gravity toilet. And also, as I say, we've got lucky and we've got the space for it. It's just going to be a little bit awkward, but we should be able to do it. Oh, you are, Paul Durden. With a life lesson there for you, pal. Take it in. All right, there you go. Right, where was I? Yeah, so we're going to get this out now. I don't know if you know anything about the macerating toilets, but the actual toilet itself is just a normal toilet. It's just, it then feeds, the waste feeds into that thing and it mushes all up and it goes into that black pipe that I showed you earlier, and I'll show you a little bit later on in more detail. It's a small pipe and hence the issues. So we're going to replace it with 110mm and get it all out to our new saw pipe that's in the basement that we built. So we'll crack on with that. I've never took one apart before. Should be fun. We'll give it a go. Just remember, Paul, take it in, pal. Right, I just thought I'll mention this. This toilet has been fitted perfectly correctly. It's got the screws into the floor, or the little things that go into the floor, and it screws through, and it's screwed through at the end, at the back, through the cistern there, into the wall. If you're doing this as a DIY, I'm not talking to the professionals here or whatnot, but if you're going to attempt to tinker with a toilet on a DIY level, use hand tools, not power tools, simply because for a start off, you've only got to accidentally have it on drive and not reverse, and a little tweak and you'll just crack the toilet, you'll smash it to bits. Obviously same for the bottom as well. So just take your time and just do it by hand. Also, if you do come across and it's all been screwed in, these can, as this one is beginning to rust. Look at the state of that washer there. But the screws, I mean the screws absolutely fine, but the heads can rust, obviously, because it's in there, it's in moist conditions, that's where wet conditions, that's where it lives. So if you go straight into that with a power tool, you can take the head off quite easily, and you're knackered then, quite literally. Now, in my house, for those of you who watch me do the refurb, excuse the noise, you won't see any screws. I've just put a little dab of CT1 there and there, push against the wall, and a little bit on the bottom, and it goes absolutely nowhere. That way, I'll never have that issue. And if I ever need to take it off, Stanley knife down the back, and it's out. It's simple as that. So there we go. So I pulled it out a little bit because the main feed to the water is behind that paneling, which I can't move. There was a screw there, a little screw hole there, but it's still stuck in. It must be glued in or something. But the water to it is actually behind or scuppered by the actual macerator itself. So I have to pull it out in order to have a look at it. And it's got no isolation valve on it. So I turn the water off to the house, I'll get rid of the water, pull it out, get that on it as a stop tap, and then get the water back on then. And then we'll see where we're at. So there we go. Interesting that, wasn't it? Right then, again, I just thought I'll show you this. This, in case you've ever wondered, is a macerating toilet, and you can just instantly see the issues that people have with them, can't you? Now, maybe they're better now. Maybe they're top-notch technology and all that sort of stuff, but however, this one has caused the customer issues over the years, and you can see exactly the issue, can't you? 110mm pipe that goes from a toilet, saw pipes, that sort of stuff, and it instantly goes into that, whatever that is, 40mm maybe, if that. So you can imagine how easy, I mean, you know full well how easy it is to block 110 mil, but how easy that is just to mess up on you, so to speak. And then it goes up straight away. So not only has it got to work hard to do its thing, to fit it into the pipe, it's then pumping. You know, you can just see how they issues, clog up, burn out, whatever. Again, technology may have advanced in recent years, I don't know. But in fair play, you might need something. You might need a downstairs loo, and this might be your only option. That's fair enough. But if you want a downstairs loo out of convenience, and you can only have one of them, go upstairs, man. Don't put yourself through it. The way I see it, the amount of issues I know people have had with these. Don't do it to yourself. Just don't do it, man. But there we go. Anyway, circumstances must, I suppose. We're gonna get rid of that now, and then drill a hole through into that void that we saw before, and then I've got a lovely little meeting with a shed load of spiders down there. Something I'm very much looking forward to. Right, hole knocked through as neat as I could without using the core drill, so I didn't fill the place up with dust and whatnot. So there we go. Now the fun bit of getting in that hole that I showed you earlier. Right then, let's have a laugh. Right then, it's a bit of a change of plan. We don't need to go through there, as in we don't need a person to go through there, because what I've done is lined the hole up, measured it round, or leveled it round I should say, and knocked a hole out there, and that leads down into our newly built basement to where our saw pipe is. And what we're going to do is, and I think it's just on its way, if I can stall and keep talking, we can feed the 6 metre pipe through that hole. Here it comes. Hopefully. Talk amongst yourselves for a bit. Here it comes up. So we can feed this through now. Wow, that was amazing. Feed that through. Then we can put their elbow on that with a bit of a stab on it, which will then feed through that hole, and then we'll just fish it through into the toilet. And that should hopefully do us. If we can't, if we need a long, once that night is on, if we need our piece coming off to be longer than that actual hole, we'll do it in that hole there. But we'll sort it, and then we'll put it through. No worries. And hopefully we won't have to go into Spidersville in there. Right then. Let's just see if this works. Illuminate the area. And we're going to see if we can fish it in from this side. So it's got to turn to me this way first, we're under a couple of cables. Yeah. Okay, and I'm just going to hold it up. Push. Quite a knocking scene from Interstellar, this, isn't it? Right. There's our hole. Right, because someone go into the toilet and maybe try and... Oh, he's in. He's in. He's in. Right.
You're a fisherman, you aren't you? You're a fisherman.
Something to hold that up, mate. I've got something's holding me up in a minute. I've got about 8 legs. Yes, please.
You could do with a piece of timber.
So there we go. So that's
about 400 mil.
That's our plan, to go through that and work with that in the kitchen. In the kitchen? Don't want to be in the kitchen. In the downstairs loo now. And then hopefully that will be all right.
So moving on then, what we're going to do now is we're going to set up the cupboard that we've been talking about here. We know that the steel post is going at the end of this stud, and we're going to encapsulate it in this wall around this corner. And that means then we can then get all this tidied and stop some of the dust going to the hallway, albeit it's only a tiny bit now because the knocking out is all done. The lads are currently doing the rest of the saw pipe connection, which Ad will go through later on. But this is all the way through connected to the toilet in there. Again, Ad will talk about that in a minute. And they're currently underneath my feet connecting to this saw pipe to make sure that toilet is then usable by the end of the day. And it won't just be number ones we can use it for then. That's a bit of information for you, isn't it? Again, all this should be talked about later on in the episode, but for now, a bit of time lapse. Let's get this wall up. And what you will see is my little brother over there. He's going to give me a hand. He's come to join us for a week. He's come away from one job, he's going to another one, and he's got a week off, and he thought rather than a week off, he's going to come and get dusty with us instead. You get used to getting dusty, are you?
No.
No. So, yeah, I think he's enjoying it, but we'll see at the end of the week when he's moaning about his aches and pains and things, but we'll see. Anyway, let's get on with it. So you'd have seen on the time lapse that this is all up now. We've left a couple of noggins out, one there and one here, to allow us to get this plywood onto the inside to fix it all in, so having to go all the way around and through the hallway and what have you. So we're going to get that fixed in there, and then when we plasterboard it, at least it's somewhere like we'd like to do with all our kitchens when we do them. We got somewhere to fix stuff too. You haven't got to worry about trying to hit noggins and trying to get plasterboard fixings in, especially if you've got weight. And while I've been faffing around with timber, the lads have been hard at it, grafting. Started bringing the bricks into here and building this level up, because we have got 1,200, do you reckon? 1,300 to make up? About 1,300 mil to make up to finish floor level. However, we can only go 200 mil down from floor level with all this makeup, because we've got to remember we've got to put sand in. We will actually probably go 50 mil more, put a skiff of hardcore on top of that as well. Then sand. We've got to put DPM in, we've got to put insulation in, we've got to put screed in, so we've got to keep a bit lower. That level there is currently under insulation level, so it may be that we knock a little bit of that off, so it allows us to get sand in just to protect the DPM when it's laid down. Yes, that's what we're doing now. The other job we're doing, as you can see, Rob's been putting insulation underneath the saw pipe. This is all fixed that end, and it's now fixed this end, which I'll show you in a minute. And what Rob's come up with is insulation underneath it, because there's bricks underneath that, as you can see from here. So to protect the pipe and to pre-gravel, as you should do anyway, to allow movement of the pipe. Insulation underneath it, and then do the traditional fill with pea gravel. So we'll keep building this up, and then once we get to above the pipe level again, we'll then pea gravel on top of that, Rob, yeah?
Yep.
So once this is built up either side of there now, pea gravel on top of that, and that'll be fully encapsulating pea gravel. Likewise over there, we'll build the brick up first, insulation underneath it, and then pea gravel on top of that to protect all that. That bit of pipe you can see sticking out the wall there, that black piece of pipe, is coming from the downstairs toilet, and that is the new waste, because we've had to divert it. I think I've already mentioned this. It was diverted the opposite way in the toilet to go into the Saniflow, but that is no longer, because this is our new pipe for the toilet. So I'll go and show you that now. So we've had to remove some boxing. That was where the white Saniflow pipe was coming from, and the two feeds are here now because there was a pipe to go into this and a pipe for the Saniflow, sorry, the pipe for the basin and a pipe for the actual toilet itself, which went back behind me towards that toilet there. Saniflow was there, and then it pumped it back out again all the way this way and back out that way. So that is no longer. What we've done now, we have put this into here. This can all move, this can be refixed. That will then go into the two socket ends that you've seen in the top of the saw pipe, which is the 1 1/4, 1.5 inch. 1 1/4 is for this basin, and the 1.5 inch will be for the sink, which is going mid-chimney in the other room, which you've just seen. So that's that. This has all got to be redone anyway, because there's cables got to be redone, there's pipes got to be redone. This can get cut out, it's the old gas pipe. There's a lot of stuff that can be done now and changed. The customer's already talking about what he's going to do with this. So yes, that's all got to be sorted out. The likes of this cable, 10 mil, 6 mil, whatever it is, it can come out as well, because that's dead apparently. The customer wants to do all of this, because this is all pre-him, I believe, from what he tells me. So yeah, he said he doesn't like the fact there's isolations and stop ends everywhere, which rightly so, neither would I. So that's it then. This can be knocked out. This is the end of the joist on the other side, believe it or not, so we can knock these three out, and these can be bricked back in, and then again, when the customer decides to do what he wants to do in here, we can get all this plastered and what have you. So yeah, that's it then. That's what we got in here. So we'll crack on in that and get that floor filled and try and get it all sorted.
Right, what seems to be the never-ending task of filling this hole continues. Rob's just packing some of the pea gravel around that pipe, ready to be encased, and then hopefully forgot about. And I'll show you what it's all connected to in a second towards the end of the episode. But the toilet in there now is all fully working, sink, everything. So we're happy with that. The macerating days are over. But look what's turned up. Oh, well, hey, there he is, 2 posts. Yeah, that bad boy that we got specced to replace, or did a job of, that acro. So we're going to get that in now. We just, I'll just talk you through it in my ear as well. It's 80 by 80 mil box section, 10 mil plate on either end. I had that fabricated, had that drilled to go either side of the webbing of the steel, and then we drilled this one ourselves because we wasn't too sure where that was going to end up in relation to the floor. So we've drilled these 2 as well, and you can see those. So those 2 holes there. Hey, what the hell? Camera went. Sorry about that. Those 2 drills correspond with the holes at the top of the steel, and then where it's fell here is perfectly on top of that timber joist, which isn't going anywhere. The floor from this point that way is staying, so that's not going anywhere. So we can drill or affix straight through into that instead of going anywhere, which is going to be beautiful. That's good to hole out the floor, so the steel goes down that and then manoeuvres up. And then I'm going to bolt them into that, and then that's all going to be done. That prop can come out, and that is all the steel work done for this job, which is very, very nice. So we'll get that sorted, and then we'll see what else we can do. Right then, let's have it. Okay. Well, I'm going to walk backwards. You got the top, haven't you?
I've got the...
You got the top, yeah.
I've got the top, yeah. Right. Go in there. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, I got it, mate. I'll manoeuvre it.
You manoeuvre it now?
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
oh no,
Just go downhill. Downhill.
Ready?
Yeah. Okay, back up. Beautiful. Well, there, man.
You think I can pass that? Bit of rust.
Don't know.
I do tell you.
Well, now I do know. The answer's yes. Oh, that's pretty good, that is. That's it. Right, I'm going to tighten this one.
Is that parallel all the way across, yeah?
Yeah. Right, guys.
That's the top.
There you go.
Moving like
There you go. There you go.
Moving like a big bag of movie things now. Will that knock towards you now? Not quite level with the flange.
2 secs.
There we are. That is now. That's lovely, I think. Not parallel now with the flange.
Is it parallel?
So we fucking got it.
I think that's YouTube ready, mate.
You having that?
Craig David, man. Walking away. Yep. Oh. Fingers. Beautiful. And that's that. Looks like we're getting there, doesn't it? Beautiful. Well, that is very nearly the end of the week. And I'll just show you what I couldn't show you what we did on Monday, because well, from Tuesday onwards it's hammered down basically, so I haven't been able to get out of here. But put that threshold in there now. All the thresholds are done now, which they were left down for access and whatnot, because the customer can now order the windows to be measured and get that ball rolling. In there it's very dark, I know where you can see, that is the soil pipe from the newly installed, let's call it a proper toilet, downstairs loo, straight down, beautiful, no more macerating. That was so last week, so that is much better. And also, as you've seen, the sink is up and running as well in there, so that's done now from our point of view. That's mission completed. That we got lucky with it with the fall and everything. So that's all done. Where are we? Yes, the thresholds have been done, as I say. Also, above that door is done externally. That lintel is from, you see it? You saw it earlier. That lintel was above the French doors that were leading out into what was once the conservatory out there. So we've reused that. That is going to be rendered, that entire wall there. This clad, that's going to be rendered over there. Oh, I'll tell you what, before I walk past it, let's show you around here. I hope I don't fall off because there's no kickboards. That one's done as well, because I wanted it a little bit smaller. 2 course of bricks, that's done, that's ready to be measured as well. Here, as you saw at the very first bit that I'd done, the reason why that's been done the way it is, taking the boards on off is a right ball ache, but that's secure now, so we've left it. So they'll be off in a future episode, so if you really want to have a look, you can do in the future ones. This will be a bay window here, and all the bricks were smashed to the side and whatnot, and the customer wants that wall rendered. So that this one's clad, that one's going to be rendered up to probably the roof line or something, not too sure yet. So it needed to be renderable, if that's a word. And he also wanted the doors a little bit shallower, a little bit narrower, I should say, and the height a little bit shallower. So I'll show you that from the inside better. But so as you saw, I'll just put a block each side, put that lintel in. It's carrying no weight other than the blocks are above it. The steel is still above it, so that's what's actually holding up the rest of the building. And then I've just flushed it all up with the compo just to give it a corner, which now can be beaded and meshed and then rendered and blah blah blah. But before that, it couldn't have been done. So it's just a case of some jobs need to look good and serve a purpose. Some just need to look good, and some need to serve a purpose. And there we go. Here, 150mm cavity. Which leads into, this is the conversion side of things, into nothing. So that's all I can do internally, block work wise. And then Rich next week is going to build all that in stud along with all this wall as well. So that's in next week's episode. Yeah, and that's that. This is the only threshold that hasn't been done yet for access. We've still got to get a digger down into the garden at a later date, so that's been left out. But they can measure that, give us the measurements that they've measured, and we'll build it to that, or a little bit bigger, obviously. But there we go. And then in here there's Rich. He's just finishing off. I'll talk about that in a second, what he's doing in there. This is the hole, I don't know, about 400 deep or something like that. It's a massive thing, and the lads have done a very, very neat job. It wasn't a case of just piling it all in. You shouldn't do that anyway. But we've got all these to negotiate, all the cables, all the pipes, and of course our new soil pipe, where all that's been created a trough around it basically, and then all in the pea gravel and everything. So we're all happy with that. Excellent. That's where the sink goes in, and also into that will go 1.5 inches to around about here for the kitchen sink, which is, that's where that's going to be, obviously, and then into the dishwasher. And so that's all that is in. So we're very happy with it. Downside is, rubble wise, that's it. That's all we've got. Now, not necessarily a bad thing, because it's hardcore from that point onwards. However, this floor's coming up as well, and it's the same depth as that. So we're going to have to buy stuff to put in there, which is a bit of a, well, it is what it is. As I say, it's extremely deep and it needs filling up, and there's nothing we can do about it. Timber in here, that floor is staying, because below that is the original, or existing I should say, cellar. So you take them floorboards up and you're straight down into the workshop. And this is that door from the other side. Just really simple. I know it doesn't look pretty, but it hasn't got to be. It's just to serve a purpose, just to enclose that space a little bit and make it all renderable from the outside. So that's that. As you can see, that's steel, existing steel, untouched, and we've just gone below it with this lintel here. I know it's not very thick, but why not? It's only holding them blocks, and that's holding absolutely nothing above there. So we're happy with that. So yeah, so we're good. We are good. Right then, I've just copped an eye at a time, which is just nailing on the last board to go in there. I've just copped an eye at a time. I've got to go and pick the kids up. I will hand you over to Richard just to explain what exactly he's finishing off in there. Oh, hold on, 2 seconds, very quickly before I go and hand you over to Richard. 2 things. We've been sent this. It's a sewer camera, and it's actually very good, and we're going to be doing a full review video on that, and that's coming out this coming Wednesday, so look out for that. And secondly, in next week's episode, next Sunday's video, we'll be giving you a full update on how we're getting on with our fundraising for the Birmingham Children's Hospital. So stay tuned for that. Right then, I'll hand you over to Richard.
Right then. Last job for me today, easy task. I've been pushed into the cupboard to get this ply fixed on. We fixed this all on with 2.5-inch annular ring nails. And all this is basically doing is, I talked about it earlier, and we talk about every video, that when we're doing any kind of kitchen or things like this, we try to put plywood on the walls, just because it makes it easy for the customer when they come to start fixing things onto it. This being a store cupboard, they're going to want to put shelves and things on, brackets, etc. There's plugs down here to, you know, you can hang hoovers up, exit, all that kind of thing. So this makes it a lot better. 3/4 ply as well. So it's all done. Other than finishing touches, which later on in the episodes, plastering, etc., we are finished. So there we are. Oh, it's been screwed, isn't it? Adam?